Welcome to Feast TV on FTSM. I'm your host, Sammy, aka Sammy on X, and my co-host, Fast Eddie. And now it's Mad Eddie. Eddie Chapo, the controversial Eddie Chapo. Eddie, welcome to another issue of Feast TV Plus on FTSM.
Good to see you, Sammy. How are you?
Well, we've been better, you know. I didn't have high expectations. I've said it so many times by now. My expectations were not high, but even I'm disappointed. The fact that this team, you know, we could be a 3-2 team, but we'd be a bad 3-2 team. So
yes.
You know,
it wouldn't have mattered if they pulled the games out. They're still bad.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the story, because we can say we should have won those two games. We would be a bad 3-2 team. So So you know, it is what it is. This you call it first. The construction of the team has been a mess. I know that the hopes were not up for you either. You know, you were cautious about it. But I want to know your thoughts first of all before we go to the Chargers about your thoughts about last week's games against the Panthers, because when you have a 17-point lead, you should be confident. I didn't, but even not feeling confident, I was kind of hopeful. The hopes got into me. I said, I think we're gonna win it, but you know, still, you know, I didn't feel confident. What are your thoughts about the game last week?
Well, when they went up 17-0, I said, all right, they made some good adjustments. They're doing what they should be doing against the Panthers. Then it was 17-7. I said, that's all right. Then they didn't do anything again on offense. And then it was 17-10, I believe, going to half?
Yes, sir. Okay. That late field goal, you know, that's
Yeah, like I said, it doesn't matter who it is, they're going to make the field goal against us. It doesn't matter. They could pick up a guy off this. My dad, who's 94, could kick a field goal and make it from 50 yards against the Dolphins. And then when they tied it, I was like, they're going to lose. There was no doubt in my mind, because they had in the second half, 7 possessions, 6 of them ended with a punt. They didn't even turn the ball. They didn't even turn the ball over, and they still didn't do anything. I mean, and the defense. Oh, Jesus! I mean, I know they didn't give up a ton of points, and they did give them a couple times where they didn't score. They got how many turnovers, Sammy? 2 or 3?
I think 2. They got 2. That's I remember. They got 2. Yes,
2. So that's what led to the offense's points, I believe. And I don't know. The whole team's a mess. I've never seen a run defense this bad. And they've had some bad defenses, like when Marino was there. Before that, they had bad run defenses, but not this bad.
Absolutely. You know, when you win the turnover margin, you expect to win the game, but you have to win the turnover margin and ideally run the ball. We have a 17-point lead, but those runs that were giving us, they were brutal. They were like no lead was safe, and they committed to the run. Even when they were down 17-0, they still were running the ball, and it started working because they know that the run defense is putrid by the Dolphins.
Yeah,
it's putrid. You know, and it's not like they're 3rd and 2. It's 2nd. And they get the first downs. The third downs, they were running, getting first down on 2nd and first down.
They could be.
It was horrendous.
They were 2nd and 15, and the next thing they'd have a run, and it was 3rd and 2.
Yes,
every time.
Absolutely, every single time. A 20-yard run. That 50. That was the backbreaker when they run the ball 50 yards. You knew no lead was safe just because of the fact they were not passing great, but they were being clutched. They needed a first down, 3rd down passing. They got it basically every single time.
And then
the offense, it's way too hard to survive that.
And then the offense, not to put any points up. I mean, you could get your defense sucks, so you got to score. And they had plenty of chances to score every time that other team scored. They only put up 1 time. I mean, on a nice pass to Waddle. I don't know, Sam. Like I said, I had low expectations before the season because of the way this roster was built, but I didn't have this low expectation that they'd look this bad. This looks like the Flory's first year.
Yes, and we get criticized too about like he might not be the answer, he might not be the problem, but he might be the solution. But basically, he got a touchdown. He got the team the lead. You should win games like that when you're leading with 4 minutes left, and you will clutch, and you got a touchdown round down the middle like that. You're expected to win. You're expected to protect the lead and win, and that did not happen. At least a field goal to tie the game or something. But they went out right onto. down the field and score a touchdown. It was
I was like, that's what I said. I was like, just give up a field goal when they were down there. They couldn't even do that. They gave up a touchdown.
Every single time they needed a first down, they got the first down. And that first down, I think it was the second quarter, I believe. When that happened, it was like, man, that I don't know.
Fourth down, they converted.
Yeah,
fourth and four.
Yes, they gave him the Panthers. Yes, that gave him the confidence. I was like, when you get something like that, you know, it starts rolling. You know, you can feel they were starting to feel confident. So.
When it was fourth and I think 4 or 5 and they picked it up, he rolled out. I was like, they just made him look like Josh Allen.
Yes, and you know, I don't think that Young is a clutch guy for any means. You know, that's not his forte, but he was clutch with the Dolphins again every single time. You remember what I used to say on Fitz TV, like third and Boyer. You know, there was a long third down, and you know, the third and Boyer, and you know, their team does the first down. Not even third and Boyer. It was second down. They keep finding the way to the first down.
Yeah, so, I don't know what to think about the coaching, the players, anything anymore.
And I think the problem right now is the defense, because even the secondary is not as bad. I know Jack Jones just held someone at yesterday's meeting because every single time, you know, he was grabbing every single time, and the referees are allowing to at least get one of the big ones, you know, the other way. But when there was no way to, you know, to get every single down, every single play holding, and you know. Part
of the problem is there was again no pass rush, and you're putting a lot on 2 guys that have only been here for 6 weeks, I think 7 weeks.
Yes,
it's way too much. And then I saw Rasul Douglas. I know he didn't have the best game, but I saw he actually hurt his foot and still played, which is a miracle for a Dolphin player to actually play when they're hurting.
And he didn't play bad.
No,
he didn't play bad at all.
He's been a really good signing.
He's being competent. You know, more than we say. Again, the secondary is not the problem right now. And you would have think that the secondary was the Achilles heel of the Dolphins, but is the run defense. You know, 3 rookies. And, you know, only 2 are playing, but they're not playing great. You know, And Zach Sealer, I love you, Zach, but, you know, another week, another clutch penalty when you less needed, you know, in the fourth quarter and get the other team the first time. That's the second game that happens. Yeah. Because of the first game, might have caused us this week to be. No, I'm not going to say that's the reason with us because there are so many reasons. But, you know, again, Zach Sealer used to be a player that you can count him getting, you know, being clutch for the other reason. You needed a stop, or you needed a sack, you know, Zach Sealer was going to be there. But this year, and hear his name, and okay, you know, there's something it's not good. It's not playing great.
Yeah, I've never seen a defensive line with no tackles for loss. They might have 1. Wow. That might be maybe 2. The whole team doesn't create any tackles for loss. I've never seen anything. That's on the defensive lineman, the interior. They're not getting people and holding them up. Well, they like to hold, but the wrong way.
Every single time. Again, the offensive line has been bad, but not as bad as I thought they were going to be. But Savanea, you know, every single time, Tua looks up, and you know there's someone there because Savanea just missed a tackle. You know?
They were bad this past week.
Yes.
The offensive line.
Yes.
They had nowhere to run. Nowhere.
No.
I mean, they get the ball, and there was somebody in the hole. Somebody said it looked like they knew the plays going up there. Maybe they did. Maybe he hasn't adapted. Maybe Robert Hunt said every time they do this is where the ball is going to go. That was my conclusion at that, because I know that linebacker, the longer
those
hair.
tips.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were tipped.
He's not that good, and he looked like the guy that used to play for Green Bay, Clay, there with the hair hanging out of his helmet. He was all over the place. I was like, come on, guys. And they better sit. They better sit. How do you say his last name? Help me. Next to Patrick Ball, the guard, the rookie.
Yes.
7.
Yeah. Defensive tackles usually take a long time to develop.
Yes.
Christian Wilkins was considered a bust year 1. year 2.
You
By
cheer.
year 3,
Yeah.
yeah, by year 3, he started to get better, and he made a huge impact in year 4. Paul Sol, yeah, it took a long time. The only Darrell Gardner, he started defensive tackle. The only one I
They thought
remember
he was a bust.
yes, the only one I truly remember being a huge,
Tim Bowen?
amazing player was Tim Bowens. Tim
Yep.
Bowens that guy was a beast. That guy was a badass. But other than that, defensive tackles of the Dolphins, when you draft them, we have good ones, but they take a lot of time to develop.
I think they'll be all right, but they should have signed a veteran other than Benito Jones to go with Zach Sealer. Somebody there's plenty of guys. Deshaun Hand could have came back. He's a good run stopper. I see the highest rated defensive tackle is the guy we cut in training camp last year, Tier Tart.
Tier Tart, yes.
Yeah, he's rated number 1. I mean, man, we've made some stupid decisions. No, I was talking about the offensive line. They need to sit that rookie before he loses all confidence. Salvania, how do you say
Salvania? Yes,
yeah.
Salvania, I think
it's not him. He's new. He wasn't. There should have been guys around him that are veterans that he's having to make up, and I think he's having to think too much right now because that right side of that line is oof.
I don't know really. I talked to my friend George Alvarado from his favorite podcast last night. I think that Savania looks out of position. Maybe he's not. Maybe he should not be a left guard. Maybe he should be a right tackle. Maybe a right guard because sometimes he's look like he's lost, like he's looking in the mirror. When you're in a mirror, like you're opposite. Yeah. Sometimes he's kind of lost. His instincts are not there. If you are a rookie and you're not developed, I don't have to be a genius to know that muscle memory. Instincts takes over, and if you're playing out of position as a rookie, that's hard. And he looks unsettled. He looks like he's in a mirror. He goes the opposite way. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
He did it in the game. He blocked the wrong way, and a guy came right through. And it's not all on him. They decided to go with him next to Paul when they should have put Daniel next to Paul. And on the right side, he should have been next to Austin Jackson, but because that's where he played in college, I believe, was all right side, if I'm correct. And you're right. That's probably the toughest position to come in and play in the NFL is offensive line. And if they move you, it's hard, especially if you've been doing it your whole life.
For sure. And again, I think he could be safe. But if there's a position that I've heard, at least from the media, from the pundits, from everybody, that it's hard if you have a bad season to recover as is offensive lineman because their confidence is shattered. Of course, quarterback too, but their confidence is shattered. So I don't know. They might have to make a move and send him to the bench because
that's what I said. They need to sit him for now. I wish Jackson was coming back because I would put Borum at left guard right now. Because he has not been as bad as I thought he was going to be, Borum.
I know the coaches sometimes throw him into the deep of the pool. Sink or swim, buddy. But he's sinking, and he's sinking fast.
And I don't want him to because he seems like he could be a very good player.
That's the kind of guy that, maybe next year with a different regime, he's playing right tackle. I'll see Jackson's out of here, and he's a better player. But somehow I don't think he's going to be at least the left guard of the future. That's hard for me. I don't know what to tell you. And and this draft class was supposed to be, a good draft class. I'm not saying it's bad, but when your first round pick and your second round pick are not performing, that says a lot about the team.
Yeah, this rookie class Chop has done nothing this year, but last year he came in and he made an impact. Some other players made an impact. There's nobody that you can name on that team that's made an impact as a rookie right now.
Yes.
I think the number 11 Trader, is that it? He might be the best rookie so far.
That's absolutely weird. Someone you didn't count on to be probably the best rookie in the class. But that happens a lot to the Dolphins, unfortunately. Yeah. Sometimes the undrafted rookies, the ones who end up being the best. I don't know what to tell you.
Never trade up in the second round because everybody they do trade up for in the second round is, I don't know what happens, but they become awful.
Absolutely. You talk a little bit about Chubb Robinson. Chubb, a lot of expectation for Chubb in year 2. there's a certain media member that say he's just a another guy, that he's not a special guy. I had high expectations for Chubb Robinson. I defended that, said that media guy was wrong. But so right now Chubb doesn't look. He got that injury, that preseason game, and during training camp he wasn't doing well. I don't know. Is he injured? We're not knowing something about him. He's not. I don't think he's an injury report. I have to check it.
His knee. I don't think they're putting it. It was bothering him in the last or the second to last preseason game. He got hit in the knee, and it's probably not right. But there's not anybody you can tell me is doing good on that defense anyway. So they can say Chop's a bust, but Phillips, Chubb. To tell you that I was yelling in that game, stick Judon in there and Willie Gay, because they're the only ones that making any play. Judon is the only one to me that constantly makes it into the backfield and sets the edge. And he's old. And been with the defense, at the end of the year, or at the end of the preseason? He actually looks the best out there. Maybe it's the orange sleeves. I don't know. But at least I can notice him.
Well, he kind of cost us the game with that penalty, but who's counting?
He's not a special teams player. That's another thing.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
Let's go to a little bit of the comments. A lot of people in the comments right now, so I gotta, before we talk about the Chargers, I want to Gabriel Cincinnati is saying hi tonight. Phil said that we will have the number 1 drafted next year. I don't think so. That the Dolphins are bad, but when you look around, their teams are way worse than the Dolphins. I don't know. I think the Saints. I don't know. We beat the Jets, so the tiebreaker goes to the Jets. So we end up with the same record. Hey, Adrian. Chargers are. Let me get my glasses. Let's do this right. Chargers are starting their 3rd place running back and starting their 2 starting running backs are hurt. Why is the third string get to 100 yards? Sadly, he might be right on that, because it looks like everybody, Temo Etienne basically runs for more than the Dolphins by himself. Yes. The little brother will tell us at the end. Come on.
I think they could put Najee Harris in there with the crutches from the Achilles, and he could get 50 to 100 yards.
Oh, man. I'm kind of difficult. They're saying Herbie's going to be running wild, bro. We're going to talk about it a bit. Here's the boss. Bobby Finstock is already in the chat. They did mess up. Not taking Tyler Warren, Gray Sable, Trevion Henderson, or Mason Taylor instead of Grant Jonah. I've seen a lot of people. Hindsight is 2020, but I've seen a lot of people say that. A lot of people wanted Tyler Warren.
I did.
Yeah, I know. But you're proven right, because but you have to know, if we know the defensive tackle is going to take time to develop. If you rather than
could have got one in the second round,
you get one in the second round, or if you go to the first, then you have to address it with a veteran defensive tackle, just like you said. International Beer and Pizza Day. Didn't know that, but that sounds great.
We should have had that.
Yeah, love my pizza every day of the week if I could, but I'm on a diet. Quinton Mitchell and Brian Thomas Jr. were there instead of Chubb. I know you like Chubb a lot. I still do, but there's something wrong. I don't know what to tell you. Well, when you talk about the Chargers and the Dolphins, you have to talk about the quarterbacks. You have to talk about Justin Herbert, Herbie, and Tua Tagovailoa. That's the debate that's never gonna end. So let's talk a little bit about the game.
I think it's ended.
Let's talk a bit about the Chargers and the Dolphins. Let's roll. Magic over here, and that's the magic over here, the different platform. It happens, and here we are. Now you delete. So there you are. Herbert and Tua are gonna be locked together. Our guest is in the lobby, so we're gonna talk a little bit before he's here. They're gonna be tied at the hip every single year for the rest of eternity. I've been on Tua's side from the beginning, just for the fact that I wanted Alabama Tua, but I don't think we ever got Alabama Tua. That injury, if you ask me, not making excuses, Tua was never the same player he was in. Arm strength, the mobility are not there, and Justin Herbert, I was afraid that he had too much talent into him. That pocket presence was not there. He has a kind of formality, so athletic that was there, but I was afraid that the decision making and the instinct in the pocket of the quarterback were not there. But they're tired of him. I know you have your Justin Herbert jersey over there somewhere, Eddie. So I know you're a big fan of Justin Herbert, but I want to know your thoughts about the match that's gonna be Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins against Herbert and the Chargers.
I think Herbert's gonna torch them this week. I do, because I don't care if they have no running backs. There's still a threat to run. Whoever they put back there is gonna probably get 100 yards. They're probably going to rush. The team probably going to rush for 150, including him. And play action's going to kill him. And this is probably going to be the best offense we faced so far.
Okay.
I would say Keenan Allen's going to kill us, even though he's 100. It's not going to be good, Jamie. As for Tua, I see he popped up on the injury list today with the hip. I told you it was the hip. I knew it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's why that arm something's wrong. You don't lose your arm, you lose your motion, and it's got to be the hip.
And you said that a couple of weeks ago. You said you thought there was something wrong. You thought it was the hip. I know you did, and you've been proven right, because the strength is not there. He doesn't look right. Sometimes
he doesn't. He's not even running like he used to run. I mean, when he's moving out, in and out of the pocket, he looks really slow, and he's not slow. He's not the fastest guy but he could at least escape and look decent. He looks really slow. I think it's really bothering him. I hope it's not degenerative, not just for football, but for the rest of his life. I hope he doesn't have to have a hip replacement, because, I don't want anything to happen to the guy. He's a great guy. But I don't know. They definitely made a mistake there.
My additionally were people who don't think of Tua as a human being. When they attack him, they attack Tua the person. You can attack Tua the quarterback all you want, and you probably end up being proven right. That's never been a problem. It's when you go after the guy, for the man he is, because of principles, because he talks like that or he looks like that. For me, that's stupid. If you want to criticize Tua by the play, you've been proven right. There's nothing wrong with that. But there's some people from the beginning that, if you ask me, prefer Justin Herbert because he wasn't Tua, just because of that. They just didn't want to have anything to do with Tua. That I take a yes to that. So, Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh is the fix that Steven Ross let get away. Maybe not once, but even twice, because he got him a championship in Michigan. Steven Ross is a huge Michigan man. I think the School of Economics has his name. And he's been a huge donor of of Michigan University, but just because he didn't want to do anything once he became the Michigan coach to take him out of Michigan. But he went to the Chargers, and we're gonna see him on Sunday. What are your thoughts on the Chargers coach?
But it should have been our coach twice
from day one.
And you don't worry about your college that you went to. You worry about the product you're paying for, and the fans that are paying to see that product. Every time I hear that, it makes me mad, because I believe it's true. I think he didn't want to pull him out of Michigan because he didn't want to do that to Michigan. Who cares about Michigan? I don't care if they pulled. I love the Miami Hurricanes. If they had a great coach and the Dolphins took them away from there, I'd be happy with it, because the Dolphins are, my favorite team. I want them to win. I don't know. He gets involved in other stuff, and the whole Sean Payton fiasco thing. I mean, they could have brought him here. I still think they went overboard on what they did to Miami, because it happens. I guarantee that happens everywhere in the league, behind the door deals.
We lost a first and third round pick for a coach we didn't get. But at the end of the day, I don't think that we lost a first and third because of the coach we didn't get. I think they knew that what Steven Ross did was probably wrong. But when you have gambling and stuff, and you ask your coach to lose, that was the hell Pandora's box that they want to do.
That's the other thing.
So our guest is here. We're gonna have to do some magic over here to settle this. So let's bring our special guest. Okay, let's go over here. Let's bring our guest over here and just do some magic over here. And there is Will. Welcome to FCB Plus and TSN. Thank you for joining us on short notice. We pretty appreciate it.
No, not a problem. Thanks so much for inviting me, Sammy and Eddie. I really appreciate it. I got an intro. That's pretty cool. I like that. A little pop. I like that. It's pretty much
only the best, but you're now part of the FinTV family, so only the best.
Thank you. I appreciate it, brother.
Will, again, thank you for being here on short notice. The Chargers. Well, let's talk. I don't want to even go back, because if you want to talk about the clusterfuck that was last week against the Panthers, I don't know what to tell you. I got into that. Now I had one of your thoughts. What are your thoughts on last Sunday before we talk about that?
It was embarrassing. On my show 305 Sports Now, when I had on Q, who's part of this network, he and I were discussing it, and I guaranteed a Dolphin win pretty much, because I thought the Dolphins were going to destroy Carolina based upon what we saw what New England did to them. And I know that they had a very good game against Atlanta, but I just didn't think that Miami would lose that game, and they shouldn't have. They were up 17-0 during that ball game. Tua actually didn't have a bad game, to be frank with you. He actually had a very good quarterback rating, but again, it's a very undisciplined team, and now we're hearing rumblings about how the rookies aren't doing what they're supposed to do in practice, or aren't working hard enough as well. So we're starting to see some locker room issues. We saw McDaniel's face just look totally defeated. He's usually Mr. Optimist at the end of that game as well. He looked visibly frustrated. And now you're getting the Rex Ryan rumors as well. And my thoughts are, look, I mean, Eddie said it best. I'm a Canes fan too, and the Miami Hurricanes at the moment they're playing right now, they find ways to win and maintain leads. Not always the best way, not always the way the fans like it, but they're winning football games. And that's all that counts at the end of the day. The Dolphins are finding ways to lose. And that's the problem. They found a way to lose against Buffalo. They found a way to lose against New England after having a nice kickoff return, and then they take one back on them, and then they're up 17-0. Which usually would defeat a team like Carolina. They march along. Bryce Young, to give him credit, showed a lot of poise, made the right throws in general. They had a hell of a running game on Sunday. They made this guy look like Herschel Walker on Sunday, and they lose. And again, the Miami Dolphins have developed right now, which is a losing culture, and that's a problem that starts from the top all the way down to the bottom.
Absolutely. Eddie, what are your thoughts?
I couldn't have said it any better than that. I mean, that's right on point. That's our Dolphins, finding ways to lose instead of finding ways to win. And it's every aspect of the team. Like you said, we have a punt return for a touchdown against the Patriots, right? And then the next kick, it went all the way back. So that was a special team, so which I cannot really complain about. They've been much better this year.
Yes,
absolutely.
That coach has got them playing at least a lot better than that. But between that defense and offense, mostly the defense now. I mean, the offense has picked up a little, not enough.
Yeah.
But what was to be expected happened. They weren't going to be as good without Hill this past week. I don't care if Waller was covered. I don't know why they stopped throwing to him. He's big. They could have kept throwing to him. You don't just stop.
Is he on a snap count or something? Because, he just disappeared.
Yes, he is. But I don't think even when he was in there, they weren't throwing to him. And I didn't get that at all. He can make catches with two guys on him. There's nobody on the field as big as him, and that catch radius, and he can jump out of the stadium. So I don't know. It's a little bit of everything.
Absolutely. Well, right now, like I said to Eddie, Herbert and Tua are going to be attached by the hip forever and ever, not to mention Joe Burrow. But by the end of the day, Tua has played more games than Joe Burrow, even though, I can remind every single day that Joe Burrow has been to a Super Bowl. I get that. But, at least Tua and Herbert, they're going to be tied at the hip by forever, because the comparison is there. Tua now saying the hip. Now, he's injured again, the last season, for all of a sudden he played a game, he got hurt the game before, and he missed 2 games. They say he's gonna play this Sunday against the Chargers, I'm not confident that all of a sudden they take him out and say that he's not going to play. But I want to know your thoughts. What are your opinion about this game? Do you think the Dolphins have a chance to win this game against the Chargers?
I think this is going to be I almost said San Diego. LA's get right game. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be their get right game. I like Herbert, and I understand a lot of the fan base saying, "Well, Herbert hasn't won anything either." I do think he's got the right coach with him. Jim Harbaugh is very good at getting quarterbacks to play very well.
Yes.
He made Colin Kaepernick a star when Harbaugh went to college. Kaepernick wasn't the same guy as well. He made Andrew Luck a star in college, and it propelled himself into the NFL. And I think he's going to do the same thing with Justin Herbert. He's got the coaching gene, and I do think he's going to be very well prepared for a Dolphin team that at the moment right now, I think they have a crisis in confidence because of the way they've lost games. Tua didn't look bad against Carolina. I'll be very honest with you. Even towards the end of the game when the Dolphins were blowing the lead, it wasn't because of Tua. It was because of lapses on defense and arm tackles and missed tackles and a lack of execution and all that. But the bottom line is the Dolphins are who they are right now. And San Diego again. LA, so many years of saying San Diego.
I think I said all the time. I say Oakland Raiders all the time too. So
yeah, I mean it's unbelievable. But honestly speaking, the Chargers do not have a bad defense. As a matter of fact, I have the numbers here with me if you don't mind me reading them. The Chargers right now on defense, they're 7th ranked overall. They're 4th in pass defense, and they're 18th against the run, and they're number 6 in scoring defense. That's not a get right game for Miami. I think it's more of a get right game for the Chargers. And I mean, I think we're gonna be very disappointed this Sunday yet again. And I do think that the season's gonna get even hotter for Mike McDaniel.
Mike McDaniel looks so defeated. That video of him walking to the locker room made him so defeated. If the guys quit on him this Sunday, we're hit rock bottom, because when you see a guy like that basically is a coach that care about his players, he has their players back. The offense played good enough to win last week game. Let's say that for sure, because they gave the Dolphins the lead, like I told you before. And, all you have to do is hold the lead with 4 minutes to go, but the defense could not hold anyone. No, we're running about 10 yards and first down, 2nd and 9, and you get 8 more yards and get another first down running. There's no way to stop that. But, I think Mike McDaniel has a challenge. He has to make if they don't win, they have to make this a close game somehow, because if not, it's rock bottom for McDaniel and the Dolphins. Do you agree?
Yeah, if it's a close game, you're at home, there's a good chance you win. But if it's not, it could be quite an issue. And again, it's like I really don't think that we're going to see a letdown from the Chargers that we saw with the Bills, where they played down on the Dolphins level at home, which gave Miami a chance to win until Tua threw that pick and it sealed the game for the Dolphins. But I do think that if it's close, Miami does have a shot to win, because again, it will be home field. And of course, Tua has played well against Justin in the past when they've gone at each other. I mean, who can forget, that I think it was a season opener when he lit him up, as well. So it was a good battle between the two quarterbacks. I do want to answer. There seems to be a Chargers fan here in the chat. I do want to answer him on the whole 6 punts and last 7 drives comment. I understand that, but when you're running for your life and you're getting sacked, that's not on the quarterback. That's on the offensive line and the blocking scheme. But when the defense gives up basically a ton of yards rushing, a quarterback's best friend is a running game. It gives Bryce Young the opportunity to ice games. Plus, he also extended plays. So
and less snaps for Tua too.
What was that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, and less snaps on Tua, because if you get Green on the wall, you're taking Tua out of the game. CC, by the way, he said
yes, opponents absolutely serious.
No. He said about next week is who we're playing this week. Eddie? You know who we're playing this week? We play the Chargers. But then the week after that, I don't remember. But last week he was CC Panthers, and now he's CC Chargers. So next week he's gonna pull for the team that goes against the Dolphins. That's basically his gaming. So
he's a contrarian. That's cool.
Before we go, what are your thoughts? There's been a hot topic this week. Well, let's get away from the Chargers a little bit. I want to know your thoughts. I want to know anything on this. There's been a little bit of topic about Rex Ryan being, name as a possibility for the Dolphins. If you ask me, that's Rex Ryan people throwing out there to make it stick. I don't think there's any validity in that. I don't think the Dolphins were ever touched with a 10-foot pole. Not even a 50, not even a 5-foot pole. Even that. But I want to go to Eddie first. Eddie, what are your thoughts about the rumors, which I don't believe, about Rex Ryan, being considered for for the Dolphins vacancy if it happens.
That's a Rex Ryan publicist, their agent. I mean, and if I've seen some people say, "Well, he's better than this or that." He took Mark Sanchez twice to a championship game, but you know what? What did he do other than that? He did nothing. He did nothing in Buffalo. He's not a.
That's awful.
Well, he made the cover of what, the New York Post because of his wife's feet. I think that's his claim to fame. And all he does now is yell stupid stuff on TV.
And being an idiot on Jet Up on ESPN. Because it's not Get Up, it's Jet Up. Because, every single day. Will, what are your thoughts about the rumor that, he could be considered? Like I said, I think that's a media machine for trying to make some
Agent Renee Pod's comment is hilarious. I know. I know I'm gonna anger a few people because they like the whole aspect of the tough, no nonsense coach, the veteran, the good defense. But no, I really don't. I don't think this is a good idea. It's a good fit. He was barely above 500, and he did take Mark Sanchez, but that was under the banner of a very good running game with Thomas Jones, and that was a very good defense with Darrell Revis. So so I think that I don't think Rex will be a fit. He's been out of football for a while too. As far as coaching goes, I don't think that he would be a good fit for this team. Miami needs a Dan Campbell like guy. They need a guy that's going to put players in their place, get guys like Kenneth Grant to work harder. And I'm just going by what Minka said this past week. Work harder and just be tough and physical. Physicality wins games. Okay, that's pretty much what. Thank you, TSG. Physicality wins games, and Miami's just not physical. They need to be physical on both sides of the ball, both sides of the trenches, and playoff teams, no matter how much finesse they have in their offense, when it comes down to it, they can get physical, and those are the teams that win Super Bowls. We saw it with the Eagles last season, and as much as the finesse of the Chiefs, they're also pretty physical as well. They have a good offensive line. They had a good running game when they made those runs, and a pretty solid defense. So the bottom line is, though, I think that's what Miami needs from their coach. They don't need another fancy mad scientist. They need somebody that's gonna, use the pickup trucks the right way when it's time to get nice and dirty. Eddie, I like that background. I like it.
Oh, Eddie, the other rumor that's been floating is that Bill Belichick is gonna be out at North Carolina, which I don't think is gonna happen. And he's being considered. I don't think either. I don't think there's a less of a chance of Bill Belichick being the Dolphins coach than Rex Ryan. If you have me, what are your thoughts, Eddie?
Well, if I had to,
now you have to put the girlfriend in the background.
Yes, I'd rather see that than them feet right there. But I'd rather have Belichick than Rex Ryan any day, even though he's not what they need either. They need a coach that is like Dan Campbell, like Will said, that has an offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator, and all you do is you make your team tough as the head coach, kind of like Vrabel's doing in New England.
Yeah.
I know he was a defensive coordinator, I believe, but he has people doing that job. Your job is to make your team tough and do the right thing, not to make all these penalties, all this offsides and mental errors and play calls that take 15 minutes. Because I was watching that the other day, and that play call was so long. They were in the huddle, and he was mouth was going, calling a play, and it was down to like 8 seconds. And I was like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Dumb it down for everyone.
Do you think that's going to happen? Because I don't think that's ever going to.
Oh, no, then not until they get a real coach and a real GM, but I have no hope.
The worst thing
since I have you here,
sorry.
Please go ahead, Will.
Yeah, I know the worst thing I've seen for the Dolphins, and I can't remember the game because it happened several times, is when they come out of a timeout and they get to delay a game. That is completely inexcusable. Or a procedural penalty. That is completely inexcusable.
And that happens at least once a game. This year, I don't think they happen, but I had timeouts when the tick, 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 tick. But you made so many times fun that my banana, white right, 5 4 out, because that's what happens.
Well, that did happen in New England. That Achane play, he stepped out of bounds. They went to commercial. They came back, had to call a timeout. I mean, you had the whole replay and the commercial, and you still didn't get the play in time.
happen at least once or twice every single year. But that's just stupid. Well, since I have you here, and hopefully you can join us for regular Fins TV on Tuesday. We'd love to have you back to have more time for you to join us and spend some time with the Fins TV crew. With the Fins TV crew, we really love for you to join us on Fins TV. But since we're talking about coaching,
I love talking football.
Awesome. So
I'm not allowed on
have
that
you here.
show, so I have to see you here.
You're too big. I have to have one-on-one with you. You need a spotlight, Eddie. That's why. Do you have someone in mind? If you have a wish list and I want that guy to coach the Dolphins, who would it be?
Honestly, I have no idea. I'll be very honest with you. I'm not gonna be just make up a name and so on. I really don't have an idea. Gruden is an interesting guy.
Some of us, when Chula was here, I didn't want Chula to quit or to retire, but I said I want Jimmy Johnson. That's the guy.
Exactly. That was everybody's first choice. Yes.
In the late 2000s, Harbaugh or Carroll, he was in USC. I wanted him to be the coach of the Dolphins. It was a wish list. I want that guy or that guy. Right now, you're basically right. It's hard. They might have to trade for an established coach that's coaching somewhere else if they want to get that kind of coach. So that's why I asked the question, because it's hard.
Yeah, I do like Gruden because of his offensive mind, but he's been, again, another guy that's been out for a while, and he's been like in coaching rumors for it seems like 25 years already. And he's been linked to the Canes before they got Cristobal. He's been linked to Florida, at least online wise. Not that anybody with credibility is talking about it, but he's been linked to every job. So he's been linked to the Dolphins. I mean, although he's interesting and I like his brain, and I think he's very good with quarterbacks. I just want a guy that's in the game right now, that's calling plays or whatever. I agree with Bobby. Mike Vrabel would have been a great choice for the Fins, and of course, they knew that, so they got him right away.
That's the kind of coach that Eddie. There's a I don't want to be to coach the Dolphins. He wants to be the GM, so I don't think he wants to coach.
Maybe I'd rather coach and be a GM.
I see so many people that want that first round pick, and I get it. The quarterback, you need the higher you can get a quarterback, the better. But if I have a first round pick, I will not mind training for the right coach, the coach that's gonna establish that. John Harbaugh, he's been rumored before that he wants out and he doesn't have the best season. It's just a rumor. I'm just speculating, but someone like that would love. McVay wanted out the Rams once. That's a guy who, for sure. Mike Tomlin, Aaron Rodgers gets him fired, I will welcome him to the Dolphins. You can get a quarterback, but if we don't have the right coach, the right mentality, the right culture in the building, I would not mind. We lost the first round pick for Sean Payton. We didn't even a first and a third. We didn't even get it. I would not mind to have Sean Payton for a first and a third. Of course, that's cheap as hell. But I will trade the first round pick for a coach like that, for a coach that has experience, has been successful. Comes with a plan. He's gonna bring his own coaches, probably his own GM. I would love that too. But for me, the coach is as important, and not even more than the quarterback. What are your thoughts about that, Will?
Yeah, I do, because at the end of the day, the quarterback and coach have to get along, and usually coaches want their own guy. So if you bring in a guy that doesn't fit, you're gonna get a Brian Flores situation. Again, maybe not to the extent that happened with Flores, yes. But if Tua and the coach don't mix, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're gonna get, I think you need a clean house, 100%. If you're gonna get a new head coach and a new GM, you're gonna have to draft a new quarterback. Or try Quinn Ewers out if you think he's worth it, because it's just not gonna work. And you're gonna inherit that guy. Look, Jimmy Johnson got himself Troy Aikman, right, as well. Andy Reid had Pat Mahomes. Most successful coaches homegrown their own quarterbacks, and I think that's what Miami's gonna have to do if they get a new coach. And that's just the way the NFL works. So at the bottom line is though. This might be a little controversial. A guy you might want to give another chance to would be Steve Spagnuolo, who it will be his second time, understands what it is to coach as a head coach. He was fired, but he would get a chance as well. So that's somebody that you might want to entertain to give him a second go around. Now, since he has experience and he knows what not to do, for a second time, that's a guy you may want to talk about. Like Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell, interim here, became an assistant coach with Sean Payton, and then got the job at Detroit, and now you're seeing what Detroit is doing. Bill Belichick, we just mentioned him, was fired from Cleveland, went off to coach the Patriots. The rest is history. Yeah, he cheated a few times, but the bottom line is, he still has all the Super Bowls under his belt. So I do think that giving a guy that was experienced another chance, that has the pedigree of what the Dolphins need, physicality, toughness, and discipline, a guy like Steve or somebody else for that matter that's done it before wouldn't be a bad choice. But it has to be a fit between coach and quarterback. If not, it's going to be a disaster. If you guys watch the Cowboys documentary on Netflix, Troy Aikman hated Barry Switzer.
Yes.
Hated Barry Switzer.
Yes.
They won one with him, but it didn't work out after that one. It was a match made in hell between.
He won it because of
Deion
Sanders,
exactly. Yeah.
Selfishly, if you get a second go around coach, I want Ron Rivera just because he's a better quarterback. Eddie, before I go to Will, one of your thoughts. Do you have a score for the game? A prediction for a score for the game?
Just back up there. You can throw Todd Bowles into that mix too.
Yes.
From the Jets to the Buccaneers.
That's true.
Before that, Eddie, I'm sorry for interrupting you. I know this is not a popular opinion about trading a first round pick for a coach, but I'm gonna tell you what. There's a certain head coach who lost the Super Bowl, and they didn't want Indianapolis anymore, and the Dolphins traded for him, and they changed this franchise. It's Don Shula. It happened before. It changed the complete culture, make the Dolphins a powerhouse, change everything. So don't undermine the power of having the right head coach that can change the franchise. That's all I'm saying. Eddie, going back to the question. Do you have a score for the game? Because we basically have to run.
42 to 10. And you don't even
Dolphins.
No.
How about you, Will?
Man, Eddie, I have more faith than you do. It's like, good God.
That's not hard right now.
It's not like we're Bethune-Cookman, Eddie.
I don't know.
Come on, dude. 42? Jeez.
All right, 35 to 10. All right, there.
He's just humble. Now you're just humble. 35.
I'll say 27-14.
Jeez.
Yeah, 27-14.
I'm sorry, say that again. I'm sorry.
27-14. I think we have trouble stopping Justin Herbert. We also injured in the secondary. That's why. So it seems like Minka's all over the field, like before. So yeah, I say 27-14.
I have the Dolphins winning 31-27 just because I'm going to the game and they have to win. So
they never win when you're there.
Can't win when I'm there. 31-27. Book it. We'll just thank you again, short notice. Tell us, please, where we can find you on social media, your show. Tell us about it.
All right, yeah. So my show, 305 Sports Now, if you haven't seen it, is a little bit of everything. I cover mostly the Miami Hurricanes because that's where my audience is at. So I do a lot of Canes coverage, but I do cover the Dolphins. I do cover the Heat. I do cover the Panthers as well. You can find me on 305 Sports Now. So please subscribe, like, and share to the channel as well. You can find me on X at William Padron at 305 Sports Now as well, and Facebook at 305 Sports Now.
William Padron, I like that. That sounds very
Cuban.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Very Miami. Eddie, you still there? I just see you responding. There you are. Eddie, it's been a rough season. Hopefully, I'm gonna see you this weekend for fan weekend. That will make my season because it's been rough. Adrian, I want to thank everybody in the chat. Swallowed, Diaz, Glavel, always there. Thank you. I know he doesn't agree with me a lot of things, but I always appreciate being there. Hey, my friend, my brother, and Rainey, finally gonna see you Saturday. That's gonna be a lot of fun. CCRR probably next week is gonna change his handle to support another team because it's always against the Dolphins. Boston Bills there. Let me see who's there. I want to say everything has been there. Awesome. Brandon Hallam was there. Sam Minger, of course, our boss Bobby Finstock on FTSN. Let me see who was there also. Awesome. Want to thank you, Will. Again, thank you. Hopefully during the season, we want to see you on Fins TV. Eddie's not going to be there because he's just way too big to. He needs his own show.
I've been kicked off.
He just needs his own show, so I cannot.
Because I want Big Fangio as the next head coach. That's what.
Oh my God!
That's a joke.
Even with that note, just cancel the show already. Want to thank over 216 watching on platforms. Well, again, hopefully we'll see you on Fins TV. It's been a rough season, but as it's been said lately, at least we have each other.
For now,
peace out, everybody. For now, peace out.
Thanks for watching Fins TV. Please like and subscribe.
Miami Dolphins.
you next week. Fins up.